every day we have different choices. When we wake up in the morning, whether it's cereal or toast, whether to take a coat or not take a coat, exercise tonight or have the night off, or to have for lunch or dinner, or to commit suicide. Suicide becomes such a logical option. Just as I said at the beginning, it it really is lunch, dinner, or suicide. They are equal. They are equal in their weighting. It's just a simple on and off decision, which is really scary. And that's not me as a person, but 3.5, 4 months ago, it absolutely was. It was something that was so easy, the idea of just ending it all. Purely because I guess it gave an element of control. The idea of ending it all gave some kind of peace to take control back. But I'm still here, and here I am 91 or so days after that period. And I've spoken to a few people about kind of some of the things I've done to help pull me out of that place. And I finally decided to put it all down in a video. And even if just one of these things that I share can help just one person out there, then that's pretty amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about how I managed to pull myself away from suicidal thoughts and this all-consuming depression and negativity, and yeah, just list them out. They've worked for me. I'm not saying that they're going to work for everybody, but it's probably worth giving them a go if you are in a state of depression or having suicidal thoughts. I think that's quite important just to give it a go if you can. When I was suicidal, I felt that I had nothing to live for and at the same time nothing to lose. So if you are in that state, you have nothing to lose. Just give a few of these a go and see if you start to feel different. I know that I started to feel different considerably quite quickly in the grand scheme of things. It wasn't hours or even days, but within a few weeks, and then by the end of the month, I'd pulled myself out. So yes, I'm going to just talk about a few things that helped me, and hopefully they can help you. So the first thing that I started to do when I was in that blackness, that all-consuming dark room, imagine it like being in the middle of the ocean at night where there are no stars or moons, and you can't see any horizon. It's just this, you're so insignificant in this all-consuming darkness. I firstly just focused on an element of gratitude, and it focus on what you have to be thankful for, and even in the darkest of darkest times, there's at least one thing that you can just about pull out and be somewhat thankful for. Just that thread of gratitude. And to begin with, you don't even believe it. When I started to just pick out my friends, my family, I'm at university at the moment. The fact that I'm studying for my degree, I didn't believe them, obviously, because I was suicidal. I was depressed. It didn't really mean much to me, but nonetheless, I thought, just keep reaffirming and repeating to myself that I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful. I'm thankful for university. I'm thankful for my mum. I'm thankful for my brothers. I'm thankful for my best friends. I'm thankful for the opportunities that university has given me. I'm thankful that I'm at university. And like I said, you're not going to believe them to begin with. You're really not going to believe them. But just give it time, and eventually your mind will start to accept that, and maybe even start to believe it. That's certainly what happened to me. Now, what I've learned about our minds is they can either be kind of our mentor and our life companion, or they can be our worst enemy that can attempt to kill us. And I think for me that was a big deal to realise. If my mind has the capacity to damn well nearly kill me, then surely it has that same power to save me and change my life for the better and pull me out. You know, if it has the power of going to minus 100, then surely it has the power to go to plus 100. And I'm kind of living proof, and how I am at the moment, that yeah, that's actually true. It does. If it can nearly kill me, then it can surely not only save me but actually improve my life for the better. So that for me is very important. And if you can convince your brain by just repeating some of those things you're thankful for, and feed it into your subconscious, then it's what you need to do is give your mind something else to occupy it other than this all-consuming darkness, this depression. That's if anyone out there is anything like me, I overthink the smallest of things, which I think is probably the biggest reason why I ended up becoming depressed. It was these tiny little things that I would just overthink and overthink and overthink, and suddenly this thing would become so big that it consumed me. And so if my brain is really good at overthinking, then why not overthink positive things, or overthink and dwell on the things that I'm thankful for, if you will. So try to, every time you have like kind of that overpowering dark thought of how alone you are. For me, everyone has their own flavour of depression. For me, it was very much, I was alone. That was mine. I was so lonely. So in the beginning, kind of lie to yourself, if you will, and say, well, I'm not alone. I'm surrounded by people. And even if you're not, just imagine that you are. Just imagine that you will be, because given time, you will be. Even if you're not right now, it doesn't mean that you're forever going to be alone. That's not true. So start to feel those people that are around you. Just imagine them, if you will, and they will come eventually. You know, they just keep believing it, and somehow, like a magnet, you'll bring them in. Just be thankful for them, even if they're not there, which is true for some people. And even if, like I said, even if you do have people around you, you can still feel the loneliest place in the world. But try to just dwell on, I'm surrounded by love all the time. Focus on that, and feel that. And feeding into that, the kind of the second thing that I did and still do is talk in the present. So imagine your ideal self. Just for me, depression and when I was suicidal kind of wiped the slate clean. I had nothing left in my mind. So use that as an opportunity to just imagine the perfect, idealistic self that you want to be, whatever that is. It can be. It doesn't matter what it is to anybody else, but it has to be important to you. And pick that, and everything that encompasses that future self. So, you know, whether you're married, you're engaged, you have children, you're a millionaire, you're a billionaire, you're a sports star, you're a professor, you have a master's degree. It doesn't matter what it is, but imagine that perfect life, but talk about it in the present. So I am married. So if I just tell you a few of mine that I used to say, is that I am happy, I am loved, I am surrounded by my friends and family all the time. I am successful. I'm somewhat of an entrepreneur. I have a few businesses, and I like the idea of turning them into a success. And so I imagined what it would be like to actually have them making money and becoming a millionaire one day. And so I am is very important. Those two letters, I am. So talk about that, dwell on that, and something. I've got my book here. I started for many days weeks probably, just writing this down. All of these are every morning for me. Hopefully you can get that on camera. Every morning, just writing this whole list of who I am every day and what I have. And just pages upon pages of these days and days and days. And most of this was written when I was pretty suicidal. But eventually I started to believe it. And moving on from that, the other thing I did was getting out of depression you can't hit fast forward on it. It does take time. I think you can fall into depression quicker than you can pull yourself out, which can be frustrating, I think, the concept of that. But I've given myself 1 year before I kind of take stock or take time to look back and say whether I'm fully cured or not. And so for me, something that helps me do that is I just put 365 little dashes on a page and I cross them out each day. And I know that the first time that I'll really stop to really analyse myself will be at the end of those 365 days, because the danger is that if I have a down week or down day on month 4, I'm going to start to kid myself to think, oh, I've lost all my hard work, I've slipped back to depression. But that's natural, isn't it? We are up and down, up and down. As long as your general trajectory is upward, that's the most important thing. You're not going to have every day that's constantly improving. You're not going to have that. So that's for me another important thing to keep me on target. Only stop after 365 days and then look back, really. Don't beat yourself up if you have a down day, week, or even a down month. As far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm still alive, that's I'm doing better than when I was suicidal, because I didn't want to be alive. So that's the first thing, and even that, just to be grateful for, is I'm thankful for I'm still alive. That's very important. For me, something as well that helped me was an element of being positive. I can feel so many people, if you are suffering from depression at the moment or suicidal, that if only it was that easy, right? If only it was that easy just to be positive. Don't you think that if it was that easy to be positive, we'd all be positive and we wouldn't be suffering from depression? And yeah, I can agree with that and hear that. And it's easy for me at the moment that I've pulled myself away from depression and continue to pull away to say that. But again, I think it comes back to that element of, if you have to lie to yourself in the early days, just lie. Just say I am happy and I'm thankful. I know this feeds into what I've already said, but I think it's having the ability to just turn things on their head and view them from a positive perspective. So I used to live in a really, really nice 2-bedroom apartment, and one thing led to another, and it meant that I had to move out and then moved into university accommodation. And now I'm in this pretty much the smallest room I've ever been in, just this room in a shared house, a part of uni. And I was worried that would be something that would really break me again and push me back to depression. But I realised, again, kind of from that positivity, I guess another word you could use is probably just choice or perspective. I had a choice of how I chose to view this room. I was either going to cry myself to sleep every night and think about everything I've lost, or I look at it as an opportunity to say, but this small room can be the one where I changed my life, and I changed my life's goal, if you will. It enabled me to, and has enabled me to, just focus on me in this small little room. This is my piece of heaven, and I can already feel myself becoming more confident. So there's another one, I am confident. That's one of the other things I say. I am confident. I'm successful, I'm loved, I'm wanted. And eventually, you'll get to a stage where you'll start to, it's habit, isn't it? It's habit. You form habits. And when I slipped into depression, I just had a habit of seeing the negative in everything, and dwelling on those negatives as well. And it's all about forming those habits of seeing everything for the positive. And I can't remember who said it, but you either succeed at something or you learn. They're the two outcomes, really. You succeed or you learn, and that's it. So any challenge that I have, so whether it's moving to a small room like this, losing friends, losing family, losing my girlfriend, whatever it might be, you just have to look at it as, well, what can I learn from this? What can I learn? So I think that's important as well, to try to do that. And I speak a lot in analogies. There's something that I like to do because it helps me envisage it. And there are two things that, and I'll say this and then I'll wrap up, and hopefully some of these things have helped you. But two things. Number one is that I like to think of us as running on alternating current. And the reason I say that is I imagine our positivity, our love, whatever it might be, as a light bulb shining. Now, with an alternating current, the wave is going up and down, up and down, up and down. But to the human eye, we just see a constant bright bulb. We don't know from an electrical standpoint whether it's positive, negative, positive, negative. And I think that's true for us as well. We can have down days, but our happiness is still shining bright. And whether it's happiness, positivity, your potential, you can replace that brightness with whatever you want. Whether it's love, it doesn't matter, success, but that still shines bright whether we're up or down, up and down. So I think of that. That's something that helps me through those down days. That's number one. And number two, hopefully this makes sense. I used to look at my life as imagine a muffin tray. You've got this tray and they've got all these little cups in that you put the muffin mix in and things like that. Well, for me, for my tray to be complete, I would fill these with love from other people, compliments from other people, things like that. But I realised that when people would leave my life or move on, then I'd pour that out, and they'd leave a hole in my life, and that was something that really pushed me into depression, because I'd lost something. They'd walked away with love, happiness, confidence, whatever it may have been. But I think for me, I've realised that actually if you turn the muffin tray upside down, if you can imagine that, these other people, things, they sit on top of your life. So you are complete. If you imagine that, you are a flat surface, you're complete, you are 100% on your own. And girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives, job, success, money, they sit on top. But the beauty of it is that you can take them off and move them, but you're still complete, and they don't walk away with any of your happiness, your inner love, your inner drive, your inner confidence. It all comes from just allowing your mind and choosing to allow your mind to just focus on those. God, I hope some of that made sense, and hopefully it helped some of you. It's just something I wanted to share. Hopefully it kind of comes across coherently. I'll put my email address in the comments, in the description section. So if anyone wants to email me and ask me some questions, if you have any, or just talk about it, then yeah, that'd be great. Hopefully this helped, and keep smiling.